I get it when you're scrolling through endless options for a home massage chair. The biggest fear is spending a few grand on something that just sits there looking fancy while you keep making appointments at the spa. I was in the exact spot last month, trying to convince a friend who works out daily and comes home with sore shoulders whether a chair like this was worth the investment, or if it would just end up as a pricey coat rack. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The hesitation is real. You want the relief you'd get from a professional therapist, but you also don't want to lock yourself into a piece of furniture that feels gimmicky after a few weeks. When I started digging, I focused on the things that actually matter once the chair is in your living room. First, does it hit all the major trouble spots: neck, back, legs, feet without you having to constantly adjust settings? Second, how does the intensity feel after you've used it for a month? Third, will the chair's footprint fit into a typical apartment or home office without turning the room into a showroom? And finally, does it actually replace enough spa visits to feel like a smart spend? Those are the questions that keep most buyers up at night, so I'm going to walk through them with the Titan 4D Endor in mind. The Titan 4D Endor markets itself as a full-body relief system. Its biggest selling point is the 4D massage mechanism paired with something called SLTrack technology. In plain language, that means the rollers don't just move up and down, they can also move in and out, creating a more three-dimensional kneading action that mimics a therapist's hand pressure. For someone who spends a lot of time at a desk, that extra depth can feel noticeably different from the more surface-level strokes you get on cheaper models. I tried the chair after a long day of back-to-back meetings, and the rollers actually dug into the lumbar area, giving a sense of deep tissue that you usually only get from a human. One of the features that sets this chair apart is the body scan technology. When you sit down, a series of sensors map the curvature of your spine and the tension points in your shoulders. The chair then tailors the massage program to those exact spots. In real-world use, that translates to less time fiddling with manual adjustments and more time just letting the chair do its thing. I found the scan took about 30 seconds, and the subsequent program seemed to target my tight shoulders first, then gradually moved down the spine. For people who are new to massage chairs, that automatic personalization can be a lifesaver because you don't need to know the right sequence of settings to get relief. Zero-gravity recline is another buzzword that gets tossed around a lot, but it actually has a practical impact. When you tilt the chair into its three-stage zero-gravity position, your spine is aligned in a way that reduces pressure on the discs and improves circulation. I tested it after a marathon run, and the moment I hit the recline button, the pressure on my lower back eased noticeably. It's not a miracle cure, but it does feel more supportive than simply leaning back in a regular recliner. Now, let's talk about the extras that matter in day-to-day life. The chair includes a 22-cell air compression system that inflates and deflates around the legs, hips, and feet. This mimics the squeeze you'd get from an air massage table at a spa, and it helps with swelling after a heavy workout or a long flight. I used the foot compression after a weekend hike, and the gentle pulsing helped my calves feel less cramped. The lumbar heating therapy adds warmth to the lower back, which is a nice touch for cold mornings when muscles are tighter. Bluetooth speakers are built into the headrest, so you can stream your favorite playlist or a calming nature soundscape while you're being massaged. It's a small convenience, but it does make the experience feel more immersive. I paired my phone and let a low-key jazz set run in the background. The combination of music and massage made my post-work wind down feel like a mini retreat. On the practical side, the chair occupies about the footprint of a standard recliner, but Titan claims it uses space-saving technology. The base is a bit wider than a typical sofa arm, so you'll need at least a 3-foot by 3-foot clear area. If you're living in a studio apartment, you might have to rearrange or sacrifice a small side table. The chair isn't on wheels, so moving it once it's set up is a two-person job. That's something to keep in mind if you anticipate needing to reconfigure your space often. Control simplicity is decent. There's a handheld remote that lets you switch between the 12 auto programs, adjust intensity, and toggle the air compression or heating. The interface isn't touchscreen, so it avoids the lag you sometimes get with digital panels, but the button layout can feel a bit cramped after you've been using it for a